welcome to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danica Foley-Long, and with me we have Nate Custer, who is a FEMA spokesperson. So happy to have you here with us.
Thanks for having me, Danica. Glad for the opportunity.
And let me tell you something, having FEMA here, it's a good thing, and it's kind of like, we know that there's a hurricane. There's been a hurricane that has come to this area, because usually you guys are synonymous with hurricanes, especially for people living in South Louisiana.
That's certainly the case, especially the last few years and in various parts of the state. Just one disaster after another. It's pretty incredible.
Now, of course, where is home for you?
I am from Yorktown, Virginia. I'm a reservist with FEMA. I get deployed from time to time to different states for at least 30 days at a time that have a federal disaster declaration by FEMA. And so I work with folks like yourself, with the print media, with online newspapers, with radio. And my job is to get the word out through the media to the public of what FEMA needs them to do, what we offer, that they need to register, and the type of assistance that we can provide. Again, it's on an individual case-by-case basis. So I'm just trying to help spread the FEMA message about the community.
Right. Now, of course, Yorktown, Virginia, you're quite a ways away from home. Is this your first time in Louisiana?
It is my first time. I've worked a number of the neighboring states on either side, and up to the north on tornadoes, flooding. I've even worked a wildfire. I did that virtually in Oregon last fall without leaving home in Yorktown, Virginia. You can do Zoom interviews for television. You get on the phone for radio interviews. With the print media, you're on the phone, and with the email back and forth. You can do a fairly effective job, but I still like to be out in the community and see what's happened, go around to the different locations and talk to people in person, because after a while, day in and day out, working from your room at home, it gets a little tedious, and you miss being out, like I've been out so many times.
I enjoy actually our face-to-face interviews. A lot of folks, when I ask them, would you be able to come in for an interview, and their first option is, do you prefer to do Zoom? I was like, no, I prefer to do face-to-face, because I think you don't get the feeling, you don't really get the full message until I see your face. I can see your expressions face to face. It's just something totally different from having Zoom. I love the option. I mean, I think it's great, but if possible, if at all possible, I enjoy having people face to face to talk about, some real topics, so that we can really feel it and not necessarily see it just on a screen. It just makes a difference for me.
It does.
Yeah. So I'm like, let's get right to it, because, we're so prone to just watching the weather channels and watching our local meteorologists, because that's what we expect. We know we're on the phone with our family and friends. It's moving a little bit to the right. It's moving a little bit to the left. So it's kind of like a waiting game for us. Is that what it is for you as someone in your line of work? I mean, are you also watching, paying attention to the weather?
I would say I watch it more than my neighbors might watch it back in Virginia, although we have received hurricanes sometimes, small tornadoes. But there's always a chance that I'm going to be deployed, depending on how large the disaster is, how many of them occur simultaneously. And when we've had this declaration in Louisiana, we had the flooding in Tennessee about 3 weeks ago. New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania have all gotten declared for Ida. Ida left here and went up there and created some havoc.
Oh my goodness, she just went all over the place. And you and I were just speaking. I want to speak on this very quickly, because I think it's important, especially since we have some people from out of town who are most likely watching this station. People say, why are people in Louisiana staying in Louisiana? Why do you stay there? Well, let me tell you something. Ida just didn't stay in Louisiana. She went all the way up and you said wreaked havoc in places they were not even used to water, flood waters, flooding subway systems, flooding their streets. At least with us, we kind of know how to prepare for this. We either know how to buckle down, hunker down in our homes, or we get out of Dodge and we go to a safer place. I think it just, this is Mother Nature, and there's no way to figure her out.
You mentioned to me, turn around, don't drown.
Yes.
You think people are more aware of that in Louisiana?
Oh, yes.
Not to turn around when they see those barricades.
That's right. Oh, yes, they know. We turn around, don't drown. It's kind of like almost becoming like our state motto. I mean, especially around hurricane season. But I just wanted to just use this opportunity to talk about that. But let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's talk about Ida and the impacts that it had on our areas. And what is it that you do particularly?
What I do early on is urge through the media people who had any kind of damage and they live in one of the declared parishes to register with FEMA. It's very easy to do, assuming you have a phone. Now, with power outages, it probably was a little more involved to try to register. But you call an 800 number, 800-621-3362, or if you have the capability to get online, you go at disasterassistance.gov. But here in the last week to 10 days, FEMA has been doing more outreach to communities to promote the registration.
Okay, and let's talk about that in a little bit. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back. Come on back here on KWBJ for the Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Again, I am your host, Danica Foley Long, and with me we have Nate Custer with FEMA. He is a spokesperson with FEMA, and we're going to give you all the information you need because pretty much everybody wants to know, like, what is it that FEMA can do for me? For one, I have insurance, but the deductibles are so high. Like, how is it, or what is it that FEMA can do for me that my insurance company can't do?
We can help fill in the gap between what your insurance company provides and what we can provide. But it is not going to be putting you back to exactly where you were before Ida came along or any other disaster. It's to give you a start on recovery, help you get back on your feet. It may be that temporary home repairs, as I've mentioned, is something that we can consider. When you register with FEMA, after that, a few days later, an inspector will call you. He or she will make an appointment, come out and look at just what it is that happened to your residence. It has to be your primary residence. We do not deal with vacation or secondary residences.
Okay.
But we can look at fixing holes in the walls, getting the utilities operating again, fixing a hole in the floor or whatever.
Yeah.
We're not going to tackle the whole dwelling and go after every room. People may have to double up on bedrooms or whatever. But it's designed to get you back into your home so you can be there while additional repairs are underway. However you're able to arrange that, and often that's with the help of some community organizations that will help out people. But people like to be able to get back in the home and be there when something else is going on, when work is going on. And it's just a good feeling, I think, rather than sleeping in a car,
Right.
Sleeping with family or friends, who knows where.
Yeah, I know you just want to be back in your home. A lot of times, even after we go on vacation, we're like, I just want to be back in my place, my home, my sanctuary. And just looking at some of the video that we showed from FEMA of on the rooftops, putting blue tarps in. It allows you to still be in your home while work is being done.
That's exactly it. But while people were forced out of their homes, we provided a big range of temporary housing. It's called transitional sheltering assistance. We have provided hotel funding for over 11,000 households. Some of those people have had to go out of state, Danica. They've gone to Little Rock, they've gone to Dallas, Houston, Jackson, Mississippi, Biloxi, Mississippi, because the hotel situation is so tight.
Yeah.
All these power company workers came in.
Yeah.
And I think the power companies, when the first sign that something's going to happen, they start grabbing up hotel rooms for their people.
Yeah, it was a little difficult for you to find a place.
Exactly,
though, right?
exactly. Yeah. But the priority we give is to people like the power company workers and the evacuees. We at FEMA have made some temporary lodging arrangements from time to time, a tent city. The first night I was here, I stayed in a room that was one of 5 rooms in a tractor trailer. Little small room.
Right.
And we had a contractor that put together just this quick, we call it responder lodging, because there simply were no rooms available. Yeah. I mean, you could go online and look at hotels sold out, and you could scroll down in red letters. You can go on and on and on. Yeah. Everything was sold out.
Sold out. Listening to you say that, put something together quickly, and pretty much to me that kind of speaks to me about the people in Louisiana, that we're resilient individuals. You mentioned about community organizations and groups, and if you just pay attention to what's going on social media, or also just any media TV station out there, all of these people coming together to help our neighbors, because hey, it could have definitely been us. We were spared, we were blessed, but there's still some areas out there that have had some damage. And again, you come in and you fill in those voids. And if you have a question, if you want to get this registration process started, you go to 1-800-621-FEMA. Again, that's 621-3362, or go online to disasterassistance.gov, and we'll talk a little bit further about the process itself and the registration and what individuals should be doing. We'll take a short break, but come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Again, my guest is Nate Custer. He is a FEMA spokesperson. And let's get right into the actual process. Of course, taking pictures, that's the first thing a person should do. Take the pictures, and then what should they do after that?
Well, take pictures even before FEMA opens up its registration. Do that as soon thereafter of the damage that you can, before anything is changed, before you put some kind of a patch or temporary patch on something. Mm-hmm. But register with FEMA, and then provide, when you register, you provide some basic information, some income information, social security number, the names of the people who are permanent occupants of the home, and also just the address, obviously, and a means of contact. Some people, as I've said, may go to stay with family and friends, mm-hmm. and maybe they're relying on the telephone of those individuals. Mm-hmm. So FEMA needs to know how to contact you, because we're going to call, the inspector is going to call and make that a crucial appointment, right, and get the ball rolling towards some possible help with emergency home repairs and temporary housing assistance.
Well, what happens if they kick it over to SBA? Because SBA is Small Business Administration. Although it has business in the title, it can also be used towards, for homeowners as well.
Homeowners and renters. Yeah. In a case like this, you may get some limited amount from FEMA, a grant, to help you get back on your feet. When you're looking down the road to maybe the ultimate repairing the damage and making your home to where it was before Hurricane Ida, that can often be helped out by a SBA low-interest disaster recovery loan. They are very flexible in how they can structure these loans. They can take them out for a number of years to make the payments lower. And for some people, the combination of the FEMA grant and the SBA low-interest recovery loan. Not everybody is going to have the financial capability to take on a loan with the SBA. If that happens, you're automatically referred back to FEMA for what we call other needs assistance, which can be things like personal property that was not covered by insurance, maybe replacing the value of an automobile, a child's computer. There's a wide range of things, again, on a case-by-case basis, that can come under the category of other needs assistance. Okay. So it can go back and forth. Being referred to the SBA doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get nothing from FEMA. You may get a low amount to do those temporary home, or those, not temporary, but home repairs to get you back on your feet. Okay. But the SBA loan can take it beyond that and can then help you looking down the road to the final outcome where you want your home back to where it once was. Mm-hmm.
So, really, if that happens and you said, I don't have the means, I can't do it, you still should keep in touch with FEMA.
Oh, that's right. Do that. And another thing I want to mention, sometimes people, right now, they're starting to get a letter from FEMA, commonly known as a denial letter. And they'll see that and say, oh gosh, I've lost out, I've struck out. Mm-hmm. That's not the end of the road. Don't be discouraged if you get a letter from FEMA. If you have insurance, the letter may be because the insurance settlement has not come through yet. Mm-hmm. When you get some kind of an insurance settlement from the company, get it in writing and provide that to FEMA. And then FEMA can take a look at your situation after you've provided some additional documentation. If ultimately you've done everything you can, you provided all the information that FEMA wants, and you feel that the amount of a grant that FEMA gave you is maybe not enough to do those emergency home repairs, you have the right to appeal that FEMA decision on money.
Okay.
So you can call the 800-621-3362. If you get a letter and you've done everything and you're still not getting what you thought, you can find out from them how to formulate an appeal.
Okay.
A lot of people don't realize that. They give up when they get a letter.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Stay in contact. That's good news, because you're right. When you get that letter, you just think it's all over. You're just going to have to either live with the decision or, live with this hole in your roof. You don't really, don't know. But I like that. Keep in touch. Again, that number, just for those who are trying to hear us out, is 1-800-621-3362, or go online to disasterassistance.gov. Come on back for one more segment right here on The Voice of the Coast with yours truly. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Again, I am your host, Danica Foley Long, and with me we have Nate Custer, who's a spokesperson with FEMA. Now, we've talked about all the really good things about FEMA, but then there's some things on the opposite, not about FEMA, but the scams, the scammers to watch out for, the fraudulent companies that come along with this. It's unfortunate that people try to capitalize on disasters and how people have to handle it, because you're kind of like at the mercy of the contractor sometimes and of the government, because you're like, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to handle this, and then you have some scammers that come along. How does one kind of keep their eyes open for situations like that?
Find out if they're local registered, if they're bonded. Check with your local government officials. I'm not sure in Louisiana exactly which branch of local government that would be, but people need to be legitimate and above board. Mm-hmm. You may have some people coming out that aren't really contractors, coming in from out of state, just running around, and maybe they're going to do a poor job and only do half the job and then leave.
Skip out of town. Yeah. Well, you definitely can check them out on Louisiana Secretary of State's website to find out if they are reputable companies, if they are licensed. That's one way, definitely. And I think Better Business Bureau is another. But and I mentioned this because you guys are going to be going door to door. And I can tell you, people are so afraid of folks coming up to their doors. You have the no trespassing signs, but you guys are legitimate. You're legitimately going to.
We have teams that are going to be doing outreach. Mm-hmm. They're going to have a FEMA photo ID badge. Mm-hmm. Ask to see the badge if you're not sure. Just because they're wearing a FEMA shirt like this, if they don't have a badge, don't deal with them. Call local law enforcement. If you find individuals who are going to say, well, for $50, I'll handle your FEMA application. We don't charge anything to do that. Yeah. And that's something we always have to watch out for. Just disaster after disaster, we have to be on the guard for that type of activity. Yeah.
Well, there is actually a number for if you feel like there's a fraudulent company coming to your home. You can call 866-720-5721. I'll repeat that, 866-720-5721. This will also air on YouTube. So if you don't get a chance to watch it on television, you can actually run over to YouTube and go to KWBJ Live for this video that you're watching right now and get that information yet again. Also, there are other options. So, everyone's in line, but if you need a tarp, you can get a tarp through
the Army Corps of Engineers. Okay. As a bunch of contractors who are putting on, we call them the Blue Roof Program. And it's a fairly heavy-duty tarp that can go up over your roof. Mm-hmm. If there's holes in it, until the time that you can make permanent repairs.
Are you and that number too? Let's go to that number, 800-ROOF-BLUE. That's ROOF-BLU, and you can also, it's spelled out, 888-766-3258. But there's also generators, right?
Generators have provided a little bit of controversy here during Ida. Usually in a disaster, the only generator reimbursement FEMA provides is those needed for a medical need to keep someone's life support equipment operating when the power goes out. We have been providing up to $800 for individuals who either bought or rented a generator. Here's a key interesting aspect of that. That generator purchase or rental has to have been made on August 26th or later. Before August 26th, we didn't know about Ida. The very first National Hurricane Center advisory came out the morning of August 26th. It has to be bought because the power went out. So if you bought a generator, and again on a case-by-case basis, it's something to mention when you register, and you may be getting some help on that, case-by-case basis.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Custer. We really appreciate you coming in. Again, if you have any information, again, the key is to stay on FEMA, to stay in contact with them. The number is 1-800-621-3362, or you can go online to disasterassistance.gov. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad to do it. It's what I'm here for, get the word out to people.
That's right. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time. Make sure to subscribe to us on Facebook.